Some cookie aficionados say mamoul, a popular Middle Eastern cookie stuffed with date puree or crushed nuts, are meant to remind people that at the end of the fasting period, there's a sweet reward. Stamped with geometric designs, they're often given as pretty edible gifts. Now, this is a yeasted cookie, so into 1/4 cup of warm water, add 1/2 teaspoon of dry active yeast and 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. And just let that sit and proof a little bit before we add it to the dry ingredients. And in a big bowl, measure 3 cups of semolina. This is a very fine, dry ingredient, which is really the endosperm of durum wheat. Semolina is used in a lot of the dry Italian pastas that are so popular and so delicious to cook up. So 3 cups, 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, unbleached all-purpose flour, and 1/2 cup of sugar. It's not a very sweet cookie, but the dates take care of additional sweetness. So mix that up, and here are the flavorings. 1 teaspoon of coarse salt, 2 teaspoons of mahlab. This powder is the ground interior nut of the cherry pit, the sour cherry pit. 2 teaspoons, and you can get this in stores that specialize in imported ingredients. And 1/2 teaspoon of mastic, which is gum from a mastic tree. It's kind of like the sap of a mastic tree. And if you smell it, it is very earthy and kind of piney in scent. So just 1/2 teaspoon. So stir this up, and also have on hand clarified butter, 1 cup of clarified butter. Add this to your dry ingredients. It's traditional to add the butter this way to the dry ingredients before you complete the dough. So just stir this until you have a dry, crumbly mix. So there, that looks good. It looks yellow, but that's the butter and the semolina, not eggs. And now 1/4 cup of whole milk. Stir that in, and your proofed yeast. Just stir that around and make sure you get all the granules of yeast into your mixture. Put this aside for 2 hours in a nice warm place, tightly covered with a piece of plastic wrap or a towel, and make your filling. So into a small food processor, combine your medjool dates, about 1/2 cup, just about 6 dates. Just make sure you take out the pit. And add some more of your mahlab, 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of finely ground fresh cinnamon if you have it, or good flavorful cinnamon. And some anise, 1 teaspoon of ground anise seed. And 2 tablespoons of sugar. 1/4 cup of unsalted butter, and a couple tablespoons of water. I think 3 tablespoons of water will do. It's handy to have these little mini food processors. It'll puree it into a nice paste. So our dough has rested for 2 hours. Now, using a 1.5-inch scoop, take a heaping scoopful and really press this into a round ball in your hands. This is the forming of this beautiful mamoul cookie. And now with your thumb, sort of make a giant thumbprint shape. It does crack around the edges, but do not despair. And you'll get better and better at this as you proceed with all these cookies. What you're trying to do is encase the filling in the dough. And I find that using the tiniest little scoop available, a scant teaspoon is good. Then encase that with a little bit more dough. So see, once you get it all encased, press the smooth side into your mold. And this one has kind of an owl-like design. And that design will be imprinted on the prettiest side of the cookie. and then just bang out. Ah, it looks perfect. And continue until you use up all your dough. This recipe makes approximately 2 dozen cookies. Once you get a tray done, and there's 12 on this tray, transfer right into a refrigerator and let chill until firm, about 1 hour, and continue making the rest of your cookies. I must say, I think these cookies look absolutely beautiful. They're going right now into a 350-degree oven for approximately 14 to 17 minutes. Bake the cookies until they're just beginning to turn golden brown around the edges. So now you have your choice whether to sugar or leave unsugared. I like the sugared, but some people prefer the plain. So on a rack over parchment paper. Now make sure your cookies have had a chance to completely cool, and do this the same day that they're baked. Look how pretty they look. Get them all powdered. I'm doing this on top parchment paper so I can just reuse the sugar, of course, and not get powdered sugar all over my counter. So, and look, you can really see the design. But all these different lovely molds come in different designs. They are made by hand, and they're handed down from grandma to daughter to granddaughter. Serve them with coffee, package them in a decorative box, give them as a hostess gift or a holiday gift. There you have that lovely date filling right inside. Try them this way first, and then second time, try them with chopped and sugared pistachios or walnuts. I think you're going to really love these handmade treats.